Greetings, Islam. Peace and love. Peace, love, power, truth, justice, and freedom. Free baby Ashe. Thank you for tuning in. Today I will be reading the Pope Francis letter that he sends to Obama. All right. Also, public records. You can find this online anywhere. Kind of hard to find this copy, but nonetheless, it's out there. All right. Just got to do some research. So I'll just read. I'm going to read straight through it. All right. Not wasting no time. Pope Francis sends Obama a powerful letter via attorney on July 4th, 2014. Posted on August 19th, 2015 by Truth Serum. I don't know. I'll read as follows. Civil orders, July 4, 2014. Issued to all members of the domestic police forces, U.S. Marshal Service, and Provost Marshals, members of the American Bar Association, and the American Armed Services. These organic American states of the Union known as the United States of America Major, exercising plenary civil power upon the land, hereby appoint General Carter F. Ham to lead and command the Grand Army of the Republic, GAR, G-A-R, all capital, and its successors under the guidance of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and with their full support. Should it become necessary to suppress commercial mercenary forces, aka the police, operating under the guise of being federal government agencies, including, but not limited to, the Department of Homeland Security, the Federal Emergency Management Administration, the Internal Revenue Service, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, etc. General Ham shall assume immediate command and control of all armed forces and services owed to the United States of America Major, stationed in the North America, and shall join them under his command as the Grand Army of the Republic. All forces of air, land, and sea are to be employed. Any cost or loss suffered as a result of deployment of the Grand Army of the Republic shall be charged as stipulated prior. All efforts shall be made by the Grand Army of the Republic to spare life and property while undertaking any action whatsoever within the states of the Union without exception. The GAR is uniquely enabled by these orders to operate on the land of the 50 organic states for the purposes of securing the lives and property of the American states and American state citizens. The GAR is not a foreign army and is composed primarily of American state citizens. If required to take field position, the local commander shall make every effort to communicate the basis of their authority and the reason for their presence on American state soil to ensure a prompt cessation of hostilities and a widespread understanding of usurpations and acts of fraud which have led to any conflict. All parties must be brought to understand the nature of the federal government, the limitations of its authority, and their own obligation to act in favor of the organic states of the Union. The Grand Army of the Republic shall continue to operate under General Order 100, known as the Liberian Code, extant from the pen of the last Republic President, Abraham Lincoln. Last Republican President, Abraham Lincoln. No orders, executive or otherwise, issued by Barack H. Obama pretending authority on the land of the American state while operating as President in the United States Corporation, all capitals, nor as the President of the United States of America Minor, are owed any performance by the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Ham, or any ordinary. Any plainly stated grants of contractual authority evident in the Constitution for the United States of America remain in place, subject to good faith performance of the accompanying obligation and treaties. Okay? Mr. Obama is the president of the Governmental Services Corporation under contract to provide stipulated services to the organic states as is on their payroll. He otherwise acts as a foreign dignitary, representing the United States of America minor. In neither of these capacities is he allowed any grant authority to impose upon American state citizens, endanger American state property, or command mercenary forces on American state soil, however veiled as federal civilian service agencies. We require the Joint Chiefs of Staff and General Ham to commence measures to disarm federal civilian agency personnel and to seize control of the vast stockpile of arms which have been improperly amassed by the Department of Homeland Security, FEMA, and other agencies employed by the United States, all capitals. The federal agency allowed free egress on the land of America states is the U.S. Marshal Service, and then only when their personnel are engaged in their duty to protect the U.S. mail and sworn to act as constitutional officers. All other federal agency personnel are limited to unarmed service until further notice. We direct the Joint Chiefs of Staff to communicate these first two general civil orders directly to Mr. Obama, the members of the U.S. Congress, the administrators of all federal agencies, the members of the Supreme Court, and those acting as governors to compel their rapid understanding and cooperation. Any expense or damage incurred by these organic states or the American state citizen as a result of any actions undertaken by any federal agency personnel acting as armed mercenaries on American state soil will be understood as the result of violent crimes committed against the peaceful inhabitants of the land and will occur immediate judgment, liquidating the assets of the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the Federal Reserve, and payment of the stipulated reparations. Such crimes shall also be considered contract default, increasing the public debt subject to bounty. Any and all corporate officers of the United States, all capitals, or any successor organizations inheriting federal service contracts who support, condone, or promote such crimes against the American states or against American state citizens shall be subject to arrest and prosecution for commercial and violent crimes. All foreign officials operating as elected or appointed officials of the United States of America minor who support, condone, or promote such crimes against the American states or against American state citizens shall be subject to arrest, confiscation of their assets, and deportation to Puerto Rico, Guam, or such other states as may be willing to receive them. Such foreign officials, including members of the American and British Bar Association, who were licensed to act as privateers against the interests of American states and the American state citizens from 1845 to 2013 in flagrant breach of trust. All such licenses are now extinguished. Members of the Bar Association are required to cease and desist assaults against the American states and American state citizens and shall be subject to arrest, confiscation, deportation, otherwise. Insomuch as corporate officers operating the United States of America Incorporated, the United States, all capitals, have contrived under conditions of fraud and systematic deceit to revenue the estates of the American states and living American state citizens to their foreign jurisdiction of the United States of America minor. They are found guilty of capital crimes, including acts of fraud and treason committed between 1933 and 1945, and are condemned posthumously. Insomuch our elected officials operating the United States of America minor have similarly committed war crimes against the American states and their peaceful inhabitants during the same time period, they stand condemned posthumously. No enforcement upon any American state or American state citizen is owed as a result of any act of Congress operating as the sovereign government of the United States of America minor. nor as the board of directors or board of trustees or of any incorporated entity whatsoever. All those estates capitals erroneously believed to represent the American states and American state citizens, and which were conveyed by fraud and legal deceit to the United States of America Minor, and more recently to city-state and of the Union nations, are revenue without exceptions. Oh my gosh, this cat just scratched me. Sorry, y'all. Our revenue without exception to the geographically defined American states and the American state citizens, where they shall remain in perpetuity as assets belonging to their rightful and lawful beneficiaries. All legal fiction entities, however structured and named after the American states and American state citizens, are returned to them and their control, free and clear of any debt, promise, encumbrance, or obligation alleged against them as a result of false claims made in their behalf by officers of the United States of America Incorporation and the United States All Capital Incorporation, or by any foreign officials operating the United States of America Minor, or the United Nations city-state, falsely claiming to represent them or have no jurisdiction over them. No jurisdiction. We note that the current circumstance is in part the result of criminal acts engaged in 150 years ago, which resulted in the commercial enslavement of African Americans who were summarily claimed as chattels backing U.S. government debt in the wake of the Civil War. Despite every act of abolition and declaration of prohibition, against both peonage and slavery, it has been the policy of the U.S. government to enslave its citizens and to operate as a rogue state among the nations of the world. Instead of freeing African Americans, the sum total result of the Civil War was to vastly expand public sector ownership of slaves, giving rise to the outrageous and improper claims that have been made against American states and the American state citizens that we are dealing with today. It is uniquely fitting that the Grand Army of the Republic is recalled to settle this circumstance in favor of the people. All right. So again, that was the Pope Francis letter that he sent to Obama. Again, very powerful. I would definitely read it for your own research and study if you haven't already. More than likely you have. For the ones who haven't, I'm talking to them. And as you can clearly see, it's all fake. They're all fraud. They're all pseudo. They're all de facto. They're all demos. They don't exist. And they need to hurry up and get my baby back. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your time and energy. I am Sade Renee L, all rights reserved. Free baby Ashe Divine L, all rights reserved. And I will be making more videos soon. So go ahead and subscribe, leave a comment, like, all that good stuff. Namaste. Ashe Iri. Sankofa. Peace and love. Islam. Will it stop?